Your archangels are ordering you to open this urgently. This is not just another message. This is about your house, your home, your sacred space. Do not ignore this. Do not delay. There is spiritual activity surrounding your home right now, and Archangel Michael has been dispatched on divine assignment to protect, reveal, and shift what's been hidden. Something unseen is being dealt with in the spirit, and your obedience in this moment is crucial. This message carries divine urgency, divine instruction, and divine protection. If you're hearing this, it's because heaven chose you to receive it. 111. A divine alignment. It's not just a coincidence, you're aligned. Aligned with purpose. Aligned with peace. Aligned with someone who sees you as a gift, not a task. They don't make you question your worth. They help you remember it. You're not chasing anymore, you're receiving. Type yes 111 if you're ready for what's already yours. 222. The energy is mutual. It's not one-sided. It's not confusing. It doesn't feel like maybe. It feels like yes. Like home. Like answered prayer. Someone out there feels the same divine pull toward you. No more overthinking. You both just know. Type yes 222 if you feel the confirmation. 333. Protected, loved, and growing. God didn't bring you this far to leave you. The growth may feel uncomfortable, but it's evidence of movement. You're attracting people who support you, protect your peace, and grow with you. You're stepping into rooms you once felt unworthy of. Type yes 333 if you're ready for divine elevation. 444. Covered and kept. You don't have to force what's protected by God. What's meant for you will feel safe, steady, and secure. The door won't slam shut. The love won't disappear overnight. The blessing won't betray you. You're covered in ways you can't even see. Type yes 444 if you feel surrounded by divine protection. 555. Shift into something better. The change you're afraid of is the change that frees you. What if that detour was a setup for your breakthrough? You're being repositioned into alignment. Nothing familiar was ever meant to hold you back. Type yes 555 if you're stepping boldly into the new. 606. Love healed you first. It's not just about romantic love. It's about the healing that made space for it. You learned to love yourself, forgive yourself, and honor your truth. Now, love flows to you from people who reflect the healing you've done. Type yes 606 if you've made room for healthy love. 717. On the right path. Don't second guess this. You're not late. You're not off course. Everything you've experienced has been guiding you closer to who you truly are. The right people, places, and opportunities are showing up now. Type yes 717 if you trust your divine direction. 818. Abundance is knocking. You're not just surviving anymore. You're stepping into abundance, peace, love, resources, clarity. You're no longer begging God for scraps when He's prepared a full table. You're not empty, you're overflowing. Type yes 818 if you feel abundance arriving. 919. The chapter has closed. What you walked away from needed to end. You didn't lose, it was cleared. You didn't fail, it was finished. God is writing something new in your life, and what's ahead will make sense of what you had to release. Type yes 919 if you're ready for your next beginning. 1010. Divine order. Every delay was a divine setup. Every no was protection. You're walking into divine alignment, where everything finally starts making sense. You don't have to rush. What's for you is meeting you in perfect timing. Type yes 1010 if you trust divine order. 1212. The love feels like home. You don't have to shrink to fit it. You don't have to lose yourself to keep it. Real love sees you, stays, and grows with you. This love doesn't hurt. It heals. And it starts with loving yourself the way God sees you. Type yes 1212 if you feel love expanding. 1313. The wait was worth it. The reason you had to wait is because God was preparing more than you asked for. You weren't forgotten, you were being positioned. Now, what's arriving is better than what you prayed for. Type yes 1313 if you believe in answered prayers. 1414. Purpose partners are real. Not everyone is here to drain you. Some are here to build with you. You're attracting people who share your values, who pray with you, not just for you. Who see you and choose you. Type yes 1414 if you're ready for purposeful connection. 1515. Forward is the only way. You can't go back to what broke you. You've outgrown it. You've healed too much. Now, your peace matters more than your past. Keep moving forward. Your blessing is ahead, not behind. Type yes 1515 if you're choosing forward. 1616. You're not too much. For the right one, your love won't be overwhelming. It'll be exactly what they prayed for. You don't have to dim your light to be loved. The one who's for you will match your energy, not fear it. Type yes 1616 if you're done shrinking. 1717. It's time to receive. You've poured into so many. You've held space. You've sacrificed. Now it's your turn. God is sending people and blessings that pour back into you. You're not running on empty anymore. Type yes 1717 if you're ready to receive. 1818. This is restoration season. What you thought was lost is being restored. Better connections. Stronger faith. Deeper love. Greater peace. You're not going back, you're rising into something sacred. Type yes 1818 if you feel restoration is here. 1919. Final release. It's time to stop revisiting what God already healed. You're not tied to old wounds anymore. Forgive. Let go. And walk in your authority. Peace is the new normal. Type yes 1919 if you're walking free. 2020. Clear vision, divine focus. No more distractions. No more confusion. You see clearly now. What's for you, what's not. Who supports you, who drains you. God gave you eyes to see and courage to move. Type yes 2020 if your focus is finally aligned. 2121. Something real is building. God isn't just giving you anything, He's building something lasting. A connection, a purpose, a calling that won't fade. You don't have to settle when God is still writing your story. Type yes 2121 if you feel it rising. 2222. Peace is proof. Peace is your confirmation. If you have to beg for clarity, it's not from God. What's real brings peace, not confusion. Choose what aligns with your soul, not just your emotions. Type yes 2222 if peace is your priority. 2323. Your voice is valuable. Don't mute yourself to keep the peace. Speak. Share. Shine. The right people will celebrate your truth, not try to silence it. You're not here to be invisible. You're here to be impactful. Type yes 2323 if you're standing in your voice. 2424. You're not late. The timing isn't off. You're not behind. You're blooming exactly when you're supposed to. Trust God's rhythm, it's unfolding right on schedule. Type yes 2424 if you believe divine timing is perfect. 2525. It's bigger than you imagined. God's plan is exceeding your expectations. What you thought was the blessing was only the beginning. Doors are opening that you didn't even knock on. Type yes 2525 if you're ready for more. 2626. Steady over sudden. You don't need it fast. You need it real. The slow, steady, certain love. The kind that grows in quiet, honest ways. That doesn't rush or confuse. Type yes 2626 if you choose steady love. 2727. You are the blessing. Stop underestimating who you are. You're the answered prayer. The presence that changes rooms. The healing in human form. You're not waiting on a blessing, you are one. Type yes 2727 if you know your worth. 2828. Wealth is holistic. It's not just about money. You're rich in peace. Rich in faith. Rich in alignment. You're not lacking, you're overflowing in ways the world can't measure. Type yes 2828 if you feel the overflow. 2929. Heaven is backing you. You're not walking alone. Every step, angels are guiding. Every delay, God is working. Every tear, heaven saw it. Keep going, you're supported beyond what you see. Type yes 2929 if you feel heaven near. 3030. Breakthrough is breaking in. You don't have to fight for this. It's breaking through because of your obedience, your faith, your surrender. It's not by force, it's by favor. Type yes 3030 if you're open to divine breakthrough. 3131. The right love is consistent. You won't have to question it daily. It'll show up with presence, with prayer, with purpose. The kind of love that doesn't get tired of choosing you. Type yes 3131 if you're ready for consistency in love. He's been working in places you cannot see. Aligning people. Restructuring timelines. Removing what couldn't go. Rebuilding what was broken. What looked like loss was actually liberation. What felt like rejection was protection. He had to shut certain doors because they weren't big enough to hold what he's about to pour into your life. This isn't the end. This is the middle. This is the part where your character is being strengthened, your roots are growing deeper, and your soul is learning to lean, not on your understanding, but on His unshakable word. God has seen every sacrifice. He's counted every tear. He's weighed every decision you made out of obedience when it would have been easier to go your own way. He knows how hard it was to forgive, how difficult it was to keep going when nothing made sense. He watched you worship through the heartbreak, praise through the pressure, and hold on to hope when it would have been easier to give up. And now you're stepping into divine compensation. Not because you earned it, but because He promised it. He is the God who restores the years. The God who brings beauty from ashes. The God who prepares a table in the presence of every enemy. The God who finishes what He starts. And what He started in you, He will bring to completion. This next chapter will be marked by divine redemption, by sudden shifts, by doors opening that no man can shut, by clarity replacing confusion, by joy breaking through the sorrow, by laughter coming back to your lips, not fake laughter, not forced celebration, but the kind of joy that rises from deep within, because you know the goodness of God firsthand. You won't have to strive for this. You won't have to force it. The blessing will find you. The favor will follow you. The opportunities will locate you. Because when God says it's time, nothing and no one can stop it. You've been faithful with little. You've been faithful in obscurity. You've been faithful when no one saw you, when no one applauded, when no one understood. And now heaven is declaring, it's your time to be revealed. Not for your glory, but for His. The healing that's coming will blow your mind. The provision that's on the way will leave you speechless. The restoration will be so complete that even you won't recognize the scars. Because God doesn't just patch things up, He makes all things new. You're not going back to what was, you're being led into what's better. Better relationships. Better positioning. Better understanding of your authority. Better alignment with purpose. Better discernment. Better peace. Not the peace that the world gives, but the kind that surpasses all understanding and guards your heart and mind. You've cried for this. You've waited for this. You've grown for this. And now it's arriving. God is about to breathe on every dry area of your life. He's sending wind into places where things felt dead. He's reviving dreams, reigniting passion, reintroducing you to joy. He's going to remind you who you really are, not who life tried to turn you into, not who fear tried to silence, but who He always knew you'd be. And it's not too late. You're not behind schedule. In fact, you're right on time for a move of God that's going to leave people saying, only God could have done that. So don't give up. Don't quit. Don't let go now. You're closer than you know. You're standing at the threshold of the very thing you almost gave up praying for. The evidence is about to show up. The fruit is about to burst forth. The answer is about to manifest. And when it does, you won't have to convince anyone it was God. His fingerprints will be all over it. Hold your head high. Shake off the residue of discouragement. Wipe the tears from your face. Look forward. God is still writing. The next chapter is glory. You're about to see why it had to happen this way. You're about to understand why the waiting was necessary. You're about to live in the fullness of what you once only imagined. You've been faithful in the waiting room. You've sat in stillness while the world around you seemed to move ahead. You've watched doors open for others, and you've clapped for them through silent tears. You've told yourself to be strong, even when your soul felt tired. You've prayed prayers that felt like whispers, wondering if heaven still heard you. But here's what the Lord is saying right now: I am lifting you out of the waiting room and into the fulfillment room. The promise is ready for you, and you are ready for it. You didn't know that the waiting was preparation. You thought the pause was punishment, but it was preservation. God was keeping you. He was holding things back not to hurt you, but to help you carry what's coming with wisdom and strength. He didn't forget the promise. He was making sure you wouldn't lose it once it arrived. There were delays, but they were divine. There were rejections, but they were reroutes. There were battles, but they built you. There were moments of silence, but God was speaking louder in those moments than you could hear at the time. Because He was not just preparing the blessing, He was preparing you. You thought the wilderness meant abandonment, but it was in the wilderness that God became your everything. It was in the unknown that you learned to lean not on your understanding but on His sovereignty. It was in the quiet that you heard the truth: I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. I am with you even here. And now, here comes the shift. He's moving you from asking to receiving, from hoping to holding, from weary waiting to walking in the promise. This isn't hype. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the divine timeline unfolding before your very eyes. This is the manifestation of seeds planted in faith, watered by tears, and protected by trust. The same God who carried you through the storm is now calling you into the sunshine of answered prayer. And it's going to feel sudden, but it won't be random. Because heaven saw your obedience. God watched what you chose not to do, who you chose to walk away from, what you surrendered to stay aligned with Him. And now, He's honoring that. You're about to step into spaces you didn't campaign for. You're about to see things align that once confused you. You're about to receive instructions that clarify the last season and confirm your next one. God is not giving you back what you lost, He's giving you something greater. Something your eyes haven't seen, your ears haven't heard, and your heart hasn't even dared to imagine. It's coming from a direction you didn't expect, in a way that humbles you, and with a peace that surpasses all understanding. Because He's not just the God of the process, He's the God of fulfillment. You won't have to fight for this season like you fought in the last. This season won't cost your peace. This promise won't require you to shrink, settle, or survive just to keep it. This is the season where the burden lifts, where the joy returns, where the laughter comes back stronger than before. This is the season where you'll walk through doors you didn't even knock on. This is the season where God says, "Come and see what I prepared for you while you waited." You may not recognize the new version of you that emerges because you've shed old mindsets. You've been delivered from false identities. You've outgrown cycles that once defined you. The fire refined you, but it did not burn you. The waiting stretched you, but it did not break you. The pain tried to harden you, but your heart stayed open, and for that, you're about to be richly rewarded. There's nothing you need to prove. You belong there. There's nothing you need to chase. What's yours is being sent with your name on it. And when it arrives, you'll look back and understand why you had to wait. You'll see how every delay protected your destiny. You'll realize that God didn't say no, He was saying not yet, because He had something better. So breathe. Release the weight. Lift your head. You're not forgotten. You're favored. The door is opening. The promise is manifesting. The waiting is over. And the glory of the Lord will rest on this next chapter in a way that will leave no room for doubt. Heaven is declaring over you, "Well done. You trusted me in the dark. Now watch what I reveal in the light." There's a quiet kind of ache that settles into the heart of someone who is suspended in between. Not quite in bondage, but not yet in freedom. Not where they used to be, but still not standing where they hoped they'd be by now. Maybe you felt it. Maybe you're in that space right now. You've come a long way, but you can't yet see the fullness of what God promised. And if you're honest, a part of you wonders, why would God bring me all this way just to leave me right here? But hear this, and hear it deep in your spirit. God is not the kind of father who brings you out just to leave you stranded. He finishes what He starts. There's something sacred about the middle, yes, even when it feels heavy. Even when it feels like silence. Even when your prayers don't sound as bold as they used to. There's something holy happening in the quiet space between where you began and where you're going. The God who met you at the start is still walking with you now. And His grace hasn't run out. In fact, His grace is stronger than ever, custom fit for the stretch you're in. So if you're weary, take a breath. Because this middle isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's not a detour, it's design. It's not delay, it's development. You're still in God's plan, and He's still guiding your every step, even the ones that feel slow, uncertain, or invisible. Sometimes it takes being in the middle to understand just how powerful God's presence is. It's easy to shout when doors open or when chains fall. But there's a deeper worship that rises in the middle. It's the kind that doesn't need to see the end to believe. It's the kind that holds on even when the feelings fade. It's the kind that lifts up trembling hands and says, Lord, even here, I trust you. Don't let the middle lie to you. Don't let it make you forget how far you've come. You're not empty, you're being refined. You're not stuck, you're being strengthened. The middle is where the oil flows. It's where faith roots grow deeper. It's where dependence on God stops being a nice idea and becomes the very air you breathe. If the enemy had it his way, you wouldn't have made it this far. But God's grace intercepted your downfall. He rescued your mind. He shielded your heart. He picked you up on nights you didn't know how to pray. He spoke life into you when discouragement tried to choke the breath from your lungs. And if grace could do all that to bring you here, don't you think it's strong enough to carry you through? There is a promise still unfolding over your life. The things God spoke to your spirit in quiet hours, the confirmations you've received, the tears you cried in hidden places, none of it is wasted. God is still working. He doesn't tease. He doesn't start stories he doesn't plan to finish. The Word says he is the author and finisher, not the author and abandoner. Every thread is still in his hands. The threads of confusion, the threads of progress, the threads of pain, the threads of hope. He's weaving something that can't be undone. And one day, you'll look back and say, even when I didn't feel it, grace carried me. Even now, the Spirit of God surrounds you. Even now, angels are assigned to you. Even now, provision is being prepared in rooms you haven't walked into yet. Even now, favor is falling like rain over decisions you haven't seen the fruit of yet. Even now, the wilderness is shrinking, and the next chapter is quietly forming. Don't mistake quiet for absence. God is not absent. He's deeply involved. He's crafting things behind the curtain. He's fighting for you in the unseen. He's releasing strength to your spirit that you'll need for what's ahead. You're not being punished, you're being preserved. You're not losing, you're learning how to rise in a new way. And you are rising. You are growing beyond what you thought you could endure. You are becoming someone your past couldn't even recognize. You are holding on to faith in ways that show you're built for this. You're becoming fireproof in the fire. Not because it didn't hurt, but because it couldn't burn away the grace God placed on you. Don't give up here. This is not the end. It's a curve in the road, not a dead end. And just beyond this curve is clarity, restoration, breakthrough. God has not forgotten the promises he made to you. He's not a man that he should lie. His timing is perfect. His hand is sure. His heart for you is kind. He sees the tears you've cried in private. He knows the prayers you haven't had words for lately. And he's answering. The middle might be where you feel stretched, but it's also where you will be surprised. Because God loves to show up in the middle. He walked into the fire with the Hebrew boys in the middle. He calmed the storm in the middle of the sea. He showed up for Paul and Silas in the middle of the prison. And he'll meet you here too. Right here, where you don't have all the answers. Right here, where the way forward looks foggy. Right here, where you're still trying to figure out why the delay. This is the place God chooses to dwell with you. He's not waiting for your perfection. He's not waiting for you to have it all together. He's moving in your honesty. He's flowing through your surrender. He's responding to your God, I trust you, even when I don't understand. You don't have to have the full picture. You just need to keep walking with the one who does. Step by step. Prayer by prayer. Day by day. Sometimes you'll run. Sometimes you'll crawl. But always, you'll be carried. The same grace that saved you is the same grace that is sustaining you. And it's the same grace that will see you all the way through. So breathe. God's not finished. You haven't missed it. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're being carried. You're still chosen. You're still called. You're still in His hands. The pain is temporary, but the promise is eternal. Let your hope rise again. Let your faith be rekindled. Let your worship rise in the middle like a prophetic declaration. He who began a good work in me will complete it. God didn't bring you this far to drop you. He brought you this far because what He placed in you is too valuable to abandon. He's invested in your outcome. He's not finished. He's still writing. Still weaving. Still making a way. Still speaking. Still opening doors. Still lifting your head. So keep walking, even if it's slow. Keep praying, even if it's quiet. Keep trusting, even when it doesn't make sense. You're not walking alone. You're walking with grace. You're moving with purpose. You're covered by love. And you're headed toward the promise that still belongs to you. You will make it through this middle. You will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And when you do, you'll know without a doubt. It was His grace that carried you. All the way through. There is something God does in the middle that cannot happen at the beginning or the end. It's in the middle that your strength is tested, but more importantly, it's in the middle that His strength is revealed. It's not about how powerful you are, it's about how present He is. And God is present. More than you know. In this sacred in-between, God is not standing at the finish line, waiting for you to catch up. He is walking beside you, steadying your pace, lifting your head when it hangs low, whispering courage into your weary soul. He is the God of now, not just the God of destination. He is in your sighs, in your pauses, in your Lord, I don't know what to do anymore moments. And He is not offended by your questions. He is not disappointed in your fatigue. He is not rushing you to be stronger than you feel. He simply wants to remind you that His grace is enough, not just for the end of the race, but for every trembling step in between. This middle season might feel messy. You might feel like you've outgrown who you used to be but haven't yet grown into who you're becoming. That's okay. Transformation is uncomfortable. Healing is not a straight line. But even in this vulnerable stage, where your prayers don't sound as polished and your heart feels more open than ever before, you are becoming. You're being shaped, molded, purified, stripped of every illusion that said you had to earn God's love, and deeply filled with the unshakable truth that says, you already have it. God loves you as much in the middle as He will when you finally cross that finish line. You are not more anointed when the doors open than you are now. You are not more loved when the miracle shows up than you are in this waiting space. You are not more seen when people applaud than you are when you cry alone in your room asking, God, are you still with me? In the tension between the promise and the fulfillment, He is still the same. He is your shepherd, your keeper, your defender, your restorer. And He is working behind the scenes in ways you don't see yet. The connections, the timing, the protection, the healing, all of it is coming together like a masterpiece. But God knows what to reveal and when. He knows what you're ready for. He knows what must be healed before He releases the next blessing. He's not holding out on you, He's holding you together. Don't confuse the middle with the end. Don't make a final judgment based on a temporary emotion. Don't curse the very place where God is birthing your next chapter. You are still His child. still covered, still full of purpose, still destined for greatness. When the enemy tries to whisper lies, that you've missed your moment, that God has forgotten you, that the wait means denial, shut it down with truth. Declare what God already said. Speak life over your own soul. Let your spirit rise again in faith, not because everything looks right, but because God is still God, and He never changes. The pain you feel now will one day make sense. The delays will one day reveal protection. The heartbreak will one day show you just how carefully God holds what matters to you. He is not cruel. He is not careless. He is not late. He is strategic, intentional, compassionate, and faithful. The grace that carried you through storms you thought would break you is the same grace walking with you now. It didn't stop when you got tired. It didn't lift when you got discouraged. It didn't weaken when your faith wavered. Grace is not fragile. Grace is not conditional. Grace is the breath of heaven blowing through your life, guiding you, guarding you, keeping you when nothing else could. And that grace is still active. Even on the days when you can't feel it, you are still being carried. God is not finished with you. What you're going through is not your final chapter. It's a middle paragraph in a bigger, beautiful, redemptive story. A story where the enemy loses, and you walk in victory. A story where your tears are turned to laughter. A story where your testimony becomes fuel for someone else's faith. A story where grace doesn't just show up, it leads the way. God is not intimidated by the size of your questions or the depth of your longing. He's already factored in your detours, your delays, your doubts. And He still says, you're going to make it. Because I'm with you. Because I'm for you. Because I've already gone ahead of you. So hold your head up, child of God. This middle won't last forever. But what God is building in you during it, that will last for eternity. You'll look back and thank God for the middle. Because that's where you learn to lean. That's where you found your real strength. That's where your prayers deepened. That's where your faith stopped being borrowed and started being personal. That's where the roots of your calling went deeper than applause or outcome. That's where you found peace, not in the promise, but in the presence of the promiser. The same grace that rescued you when you were lost, that redeemed you when you fell, that reassured you when you cried, is still here. That's a hard thing to accept when everything in your world is urging you to hustle, to prove, to perfect. But God's process is different. He doesn't need your performance, He needs your permission to shape you in the secret place, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Let's tell the truth, some of your most painful moments came not from chaos, but from the silence. The stillness. The delay. The confusion of watching others accelerate while you feel suspended. But the silence isn't a sign of abandonment. It's a setup for something deeper. For clarity. For power. For alignment. Sometimes, before God opens a new door, He teaches you how to rest at the threshold. Because the blessing isn't just in what you receive, it's in who you become as you wait. Some doors open fast and fade. But the ones God builds in your character first, they stand forever. And maybe right now, you're walking through a season where you feel completely stripped. Weakened. Uncertain. You've done all you know to do. You've prayed. You've waited. You've trusted. You've fought battles no one knows about. You've surrendered things you thought you'd never let go of. You've obeyed when it didn't make sense. You've walked through rejection, isolation, spiritual warfare, and personal loss, and yet, here you are. Still breathing. still standing, still reaching for God. That alone is a testimony. You are stronger than you think. Not because you haven't been broken, but because you didn't stay broken. That's grace. You didn't make it this far on your own. You were carried. Carried by angels when you collapsed in tears. Carried by the Holy Spirit when your soul felt numb. Carried by the Word of God when no one else's words could help you. Carried by promises spoken over your life before you were even born. You are not standing in your own strength. You are standing in the sustaining power of God. A power that doesn't run out when life gets harder. A power that multiplies in your weakness. A power that teaches you how to stand even when your knees are shaking. And make no mistake, God still has a plan. Even in the middle. Even when you don't see how. Even when your past tries to haunt you and your future feels foggy. God is not improvising. He is not panicking. He is not second-guessing the path He's chosen for you. He sees the entire picture. He knows what He placed inside of you. He knows the rooms He's preparing for you. He knows the impact your story will have. He knows who needs your voice. He knows why the detours were necessary. And He knows when to release the next phase. The middle isn't meant to punish you, it's meant to prepare you. Because what you're carrying is too important to be rushed. God is doing a deep work in you so that when you do arrive, when the doors open, when the promise unfolds, when the chapter changes, you won't collapse under the weight of it. You'll be rooted, grounded, ready. Sometimes God doesn't just want to deliver you, He wants to deliver through you.